The first Steam Next Fest of 2025 is here, and with over 2,500 demos available, it's a lot to sort through. This video is here to give you a little bit of help and some of my picks for strategy and tactics games with something for everyone. Turn-based, real-time, roguelikes, and all the mixes in between. As a reminder, some demos are only available during the Next Fest, so if you're really interested in a specific game, I recommend you make some time to play it before the end of the event, just in case. One of the biggest strategy games in the Next Fest, Solasta II is a sequel to Crown of the Magister, a highly rated and critically acclaimed tactical RPG. If you're a fan of Baldur's Gate, Divinity, or Pathfinder, this one really should be right up your alley. Your party of 4 heroes will travel to a faraway continent to uncover and deal with an ancient threat linked to their family legacy, with the option for players to roam and explore the world freely as they wish. Dice rolls play a major part here, as Solasta takes a lot of pride in its faithful adaptation of the tabletop experience. We don't have a confirmed release date yet, but Solasta II could really be the next big tactical RPG, and now is your chance to give it a shot. Dead Underworld is an intriguing mix of strategy RPG, turn-based tactics, survival, and roguelite. Dive into a hostile, unforgiving world with environmental hazards such as radiation and ancient active guard towers as you explore, gather resources to survive, and contend with enemies or allies in the 3 major factions that roam the underworld. Character traits will change based on your choices and actions, and there are plenty of ancient sites and secrets to discover, as well as characters you can hire or recruit to travel alongside you. The turn-based combat is interesting, with different ranges affecting weapons, damage, and abilities. Advancing and retreating into those ranges is all a part of the strategy, and I'm hooked on learning more about this world and what exactly happened to it. Chains of Freedom is a tactical RPG with the open-world exploration style of Mutant Year Zero and a combat system similar to the modern XCOM games. You play as an elite military squad in Eastern Europe, navigating a world where a meteorite fell and unleashed a deadly disease. Mutated creatures, hostile rebel factions, and deep conspiracies are all a part of the challenges that you'll face. The graphics look really good here, the world is interesting, and the combat starts off simple but adds in some nice twists and strategic wrinkles. I hadn't even heard of Chains of Freedom until recently, but it has quickly jumped up to one of the top spots on my wishlist. How about a squad tactics game where your party is made up entirely of chess pieces? But Petrified Pawns is really much more than that. With traditional chess movement and pieces like the king, bishop, and rook, as well as new ones like the projectile shooting crossbows or heavy damage bears, you'll dive into dungeons, find loot, manage gear, and deal with the opposing chess pieces, only instead of instantly being taken out, each one has a health bar and will attack enemies automatically. Not only is this a fun twist and a unique concept, but the graphic style of the game is very nice too. And if you like it, you won't have to wait very long, as Petrified Pawns is set to release right after the Steam Next Fest on March 4th. Mordfield Command is a turn-based strategy game where you play as the last remnants of humanity fighting to take back Earth from a rogue AI. The setup is kind of similar to Gladius or Civilization with the hex grid world map, but make no mistake, there is no diplomacy here. Your only goal is complete domination. Take on the role of a commander, raise your army, and handle the difficult task of strategically managing your finite resources, while also managing and using your action points in a unique way for things like extra defense or attacks, or even faster building construction. The deep strategic mechanics extend to the terrain as well, which will evolve and change as the battles take place. Lead the resistance to victory, overwhelm the machines, and ensure the survival of the human race. Vanguard Exiles is a game from the creator of Magic the Gathering, Richard Garfield. Set in a very unique post-World War I, dieselpunk, magic, and tech-fused era, Vanguard Exiles mixes turn-based tactics and auto-battler mechanics. You play as the general of a Vanguard, which is basically a tribe of exiles that have banded together against other tribes. Units and squads have unique abilities and synergies and are deployed into zones on the battlefield, which are constantly evolving and changing. This means that no battle or skirmish will ever be the same. Play as the dwarves, elves, or humans and reclaim the world one zone at a time by claiming as many victory points as you possibly can to win. There's even multiplayer and PvP game modes available as well. Blightstone is a dark fantasy roguelike with a surprisingly deep tactical underbelly. Take your heroes on a quest to deliver a crystal and destroy the demon overlord's rift, then shatter the Blightstone and stop the corruption. pick your path, deal with events, and battle enemies across the overworld map while managing camping skills and resources at night like Darkest Dungeon. The turn-based tactics combat isn't on a grid, so you can move and place your characters wherever you want, with angles and cover actually mattering. My favorite part though might be the interactive environments, like where I grab this wolf and toss it into a crater that's in the level. Blightstone also has seemingly standard character classes like brawlers and hunters, but with some very cool and unique skill and ability setups. In my opinion, we could always use more darker themed games, and Blightstone is looking like it has the potential to be great. Forestygian is a tactical roguelike deck builder based around card synergies and hero abilities. There are 7 total heroes to unlock, from your standard warrior and sorceress to a necromancer and lycan, each with 3 unique attacks. Players will build their deck and fight off waves of enemies with multiple different types and passive abilities of their own. One thing I really like about this game is it has a very friendly interface with the option to highlight almost anything and see what it does, as well as an expansive encyclopedia and glossary explaining all of the different terms, status effects, and cards. Synergies and combos are also fairly easy to put together, giving it a bit of an easy to learn but difficult to master feeling. This is one of the easier to jump into deck builders that I've played and is set for its full release to be coming as soon as March. Rogue Conflict is a turn-based war game where you manage armies, artillery, and air support. Take the role of a commanding officer engaged in a campaign with full control of your military resources. It has procedurally generated battlefields and a bit of a roguelike mission and progression structure, as well as 15 different armies to unlock. Each army has their own various units and strengths, with upgrades you can earn for buffs, enemy intelligence, and weapons. While this game kind of looks like Advance Wars, it doesn't really play like that, with unit strength and morale management being key mechanics. Unit deployment and strategic placement will be the difference maker here between success or failure, and if you enjoy Rogue Conflict, it's actually releasing very soon on March 6th. Slaves of Magic is kind of like XCOM, except instead Earth has been invaded and taken over by magic-wielding beings pretending to be the old gods. It even has a secretive Shadow Council to direct the resistance. That's where you come in, Commander, building bases and regions to gain new resources and learn more about the magic your enemies are using. Play chess with their armies and slow their advance by leading your squads on strategic missions to sabotage them. Permadeath and character customization are here as well, and one really cool thing is that there are no classes, only attributes that all units can learn. This gives players real freedom to mix and match their characters and make their own team compositions. Slaves of Magic also has a big focus on replayability, with each campaign having different reactive elements and paths you can choose. It really is like the fantasy version of XCOM, and that is by no means a bad thing. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown is a new turn-based beat-em-up style game in the Turtles universe. Inspired by the classic cartoon, Tactical Takedown has a couple of unique approaches. In this game, Shredder and Splinter are dead and the Turtles are growing up and approaching adulthood, but also growing apart. Tactical Takedown actually has separate campaigns for each turtle, as well as customizable movesets and 20 levels that constantly shift and evolve throughout your fights. This kind of feels like a hybrid between the old arcade-style games and a new graphic novel-inspired type of presentation, with leaderboards and high scores just like the old days. You do only get one turtle per fight, but maybe that's something that'll change in the full game when we get the rest of the story. Gnomes is a tower defense roguelike game with a little bit of a darker edge. Defend your garden shed from the invading goblins with a variety of gnomes that all have unique properties and attack patterns. Each map is procedurally generated, and each round the goblins will take a random path to reach the garden shed. In between rounds you can plant, farm, reposition, and spend gold for bonuses or more units in the shop, and there's actually a lot of different biomes and starting setups that you can unlock. Can you stop the invasion and defeat the Goblin King? Gnomes is set to release soon in April 2025, and I actually have a video covering it if you're interested in more details. If you were hoping for a Phoenix Point 2, Chip and Clawz vs. the Brainioidz has been unveiled as Snapshot Games' next release instead. This is a pretty big change, as Chip and Clawz is a real-time strategy game blended with third-person action combat. You choose your hero, Chip or Clawz, or both in co-op and local multiplayer, which is always a nice feature, and lead the charge against the Brainioidz as you manage base building and large-scale real-time battles. There's also boss battles, PvP, hidden collectibles, and comic books with lore, and a focus on being able to jump right into fast-paced, pick-up-and-play style missions. We don't get too many co-op strategy games these days, so this is a nice touch, and not all hope is lost. Julian Gollop did say recently in an interview he would happily return to XCOM if Firaxis were just to call him up. Hyper Empire is a turn-based strategy game in space that has all the features of a 4X, but is streamlined and designed to be a much quicker experience. In this fast-paced version of Empire management, every choice matters. Fight, build, and invest into faith or technology across 5 different factions, each with their own unique ships and mechanics. Combat is set up like an auto-battler, but that doesn't mean that there is no strategy involved. You control your carrier flagship's weapons, recruit heroes, and adjust your strategy as conflicts escalate. There's even random events that can happen and bring good or bad consequences. With all the traditional paths to victory, including domination, technology, or trade, there is so much you can do here, and you won't have to take multiple days or weeks just to finish a game. Deck of Haunts is definitely a little different, but I absolutely love the concept and idea. In this game, you are the haunted house, luring in humans and draining their essence with fear to grow more powerful. During the day, you will build, design, and expand your house into a death trap maze, and at night, lure in the unsuspecting humans and use cards to summon spirits, shift rooms and hallways, and unleash even more powerful evils. The goal is to build the tension and absolutely terrify your guests, while protecting your heart room from them. Destroy their sanity and use their fear to grow more powerful, eventually attracting law enforcement, priests, and some more dangerous humans. Deck of Haunts is a really cool game, and I can't wait to see how it develops. As We Descend is a roguelike deck builder on the surface with some much deeper mechanics underneath. Set in a post-apocalyptic world, you must protect the last city of humanity from massive monsters as it descends and tries to break into the core. Combat is card-based, but also has a zone system, allowing you to reposition your forces to avoid attacks or set up a defensive line. And while all of that's going on, you'll also be scavenging materials and technology, playing politics with the 3 great factions in the city, and recruiting new squads with their own unique abilities and upgradable cards to form the perfect team synergies. As We Descend has some really nice additions to the standard roguelike deck building formula that make it stand out on its own. The giant enemies are fun to fight, and the combat flow feels great, and this is one that I'm definitely keeping an eye on. Deathring Second Impact is a roguelite turn-based strategy game where you lead the Griffin Squadron's mechas and pilots against hordes of mutated monsters. Customization is a huge focus here, with equipment from 9 different manufacturers available to unlock and use. This equipment can also be combined to create special skills and synergies, and even unlock some secret special forms. On top of that, loadout modules available from the command center can be used to modify and boost all of your mechs with different bonus damage types or stats. It's really just a giant mix and match to create whatever kind of mechs or playstyle you want. Waves of elite monsters and enemies with their own modifiers and damage types will try to stand in the way, but you must discover the secrets of the Death Ring and ensure humanity's survival. Trolls vs. Vikings Reborn is a tower defense game that reminds me in so many ways of the great original Plants vs. Zombies. It uses the same grid layout, graphical style, and the same funny reactions and small jokes tucked into the corners. Dive into the battle with the powers of the trolls and their gods to fend off the Nordic gods and their Viking forces. This is actually a remake of sorts from the previous free-to-play mobile model of this game, but with all of those mechanics thrown out. Reborn is a pure over-the-top gameplay experience with over 30 levels, 35 special missions, full upgrade trees, and spells that can be cast. And like any great tower defense game, it also has an endless mode. If you're looking for something fun and lighthearted but still strategically taxing, this might be it. He Is Coming has a really dark, unique feeling to it with an interesting blend of RPG, strategy, and auto-battler genres, combined with retro-styled music and graphics. The Demon King has awoken and is coming, and someone must stand as the champion to stop him. Every 3 days, a new powerful minion will emerge from a pool of over 30 different bosses, each with their own unique strengths and weaknesses. You have to adjust and adapt your build to each boss, exploring the kingdom for new equipment and weapons with limited time to to prepare yourself. Take advantage of merchants, forges, and hundreds of different items to craft your strategy for the short and long term in the hopes that you will be able to survive and fight the Demon King himself eventually. The ever-changing threats keep you engaged, and each run is completely different while also adding new items and artifacts for future runs. There's even a sort of PvP mode called Kingmaker where you can face off against other players and their builds, with everyone fighting to take the Demon King's crown. If any of that even remotely sounds interesting to you, He Is Coming is definitely a must try. The sequel to the overwhelmingly positive Monster Train was announced recently to be coming in 2025. Monster Train 2 keeps the base formula from the first game and expands on it with all new factions, a deeper story, plus new types of cards, modifiers, and equipment to make things fresh. After unfreezing hell, you'll now take the train into heaven itself to purge the corruption that's taken hold. This demo was released a couple of days before the next fest, so it shouldn't be going anywhere. I played it and broke down the new additions for Monster Train 1, as well as my thoughts and impressions. If you want to check that out, feel free to click through the video on screen now.